Hello Taurus Ascendant, Sun and Moon. This is your horoscope for 2014 with me, Lada, from Lada, where I have my birth chart calculator. If you know to find out where your Ascendant, Sun and Moon is, and listen to those predictions, because the Ascendant and Moon sign are often the more correct one, the more personal one. So what does 2014 hold for you? Well, let's start with the influences that continue from 2013 into 2014. Jupiter till July, which is the planet of expansion and growth, continues to be in your third house till July. And wherever Jupiter passes, this is where we get opportunities, where we can grow, where we can expand, where things happen with ease and clarity. And third house is the house of media, of social connections. So anyone who works in media, in journalism, in writing, anyone who is in kind of administrative job where it has to do with a lot of information, gathering information, giving information, dispatching information, sorting information, or people in communicative businesses, people in social media, people in advertising, in marketing, in management, all these kind of things where there is a lot of busyness and mental activity and a lot of like an influx of information all the time. People will do great in that area. You know, they continue to Tauruses, you know, to 2014 to really shine in that area. For instance, I have a friend who is Taurus Ascendant and Jupiter in his third house. He started a company, software company, and third house is everything: internet, media, information, and the software company will be teaching people about how to use, you know, certain programs. So this is the kind of things that can happen when Jupiter is in the third house. It's great for short travels as well. So if you want to travel somewhere, not for long, not like for, but it's more like daily trips. It's great. Also, the life of your siblings and relatives can improve. They can be a source of abundance and growth for you, a source of happiness with Jupiter in the third house. You can learn something new. Third house is not only the information and exchange and all this internet media, you know, maybe some of you can gain a new laptop, maybe some of you can start a website, some of you can get the concepts and the ideas, which is the third house, heard when Jupiter transits the third house. And third house is also learning technical things. So a lot of you might be learning, like I studied astrology. I studied very intensely astrology when Jupiter transited my third house. I started studying a new course. So some of you might go learning a language, or start learning a new instrument to play, or do something, you know, that is more, and they feel inspired towards it. They'll feel like if they had fears before to do something new that is difficult, when Jupiter is in their third house, it comes naturally, it flows, and they feel like, yes, I can do it. You know, they have more courage there. Jupiter passes into your fourth house from July onwards, 2014 till July 2015. So those of you Taurus who want to relocate, to move to a better place, they'll feel great. They'll feel very happy in the new place where they move from. Some of them might be from the summer of 2014. Some of them might be that this relocation happens a bit later into the year 2015. But there will be a positive, you know, whatever you choose to live, because fourth house is the place of living, of where you make your base. You will fare well. Jupiter will bless you there, will give you positive development. Fourth house is also property, so some of you might be buying property, expanding your own place of living, expanding your building, an addition, or some of you, fourth house is the mother family, so some of you might become mothers, you know. This is very good fourth house transit. When Jupiter transits the fourth house, the maternal instincts start waking up, the nurturing maternal instincts, and also your mother, your family can be a source of happiness and joy for you. This is where you feel most secure in your family home base from 2014, the middle of 2014 onwards, and you feel like a lot of healing and blessing coming into your life. From mother, from maternal figures, from nurturing figures, you feel more cared for and nurtured in your family. And actually, time spent alone in the privacy of your home can be very, very healing. Can be very positive. Can bring a lot of inner emotional joy. And the fourth house is the house of, spiritually speaking, the house of happiness. And it's happiness which is subjective, which doesn't matter what's happening around. And when Jupiter transits it, a person feels quite happy within themselves, no matter what is outside, especially if your moon is in Taurus, because the moon is the more emotional planet, or the ascendant, and least of all the sun. If it's in Taurus, then Jupiter triggering your 4th house can make you feel happier within yourself, can make you feel just more joyful, psychologically more healthy. And again, as I said, you can buy land, you can buy property, you can expand or move and live somewhere where you feel quite good, or if your living situation is quite bad right now, from the middle of 2014 till the middle of 2015, there is a great chance it will improve. And also vehicles, any kind of vehicles are ruled by the 5th house. So whether you buy a new bicycle, or maybe some of you might buy a bus, or some of you a tricycle, you know, any kind of vehicles which move you from one place to another faster, or a car, you know, some of you might be lucky and have positive developments in that area. But anyway, let's see what is happening. Also, the mother is the 4th house, so Jupiter there can help you connect somehow more with your mother if you've had a strained relationship, or the mother can make you happy. Or when Jupiter was transiting my 4th house, I was calling my parents daily, not because I needed and I was in need, but because they were giving me such a source of joy, and my parents were like, what's happened to you? So for about 7, 8, 9 months, it's like this reconnection with family, and I wanted to go back to Bulgaria a lot and stay there, because it's your place of origin, your country of origin. So some of you might reconnect there again, and some of you might just put roots down and settle down, because this is what the 4th house is, and Jupiter there makes you feel positively predisposed, and you receive joy from settling down rather than trying to run away with the fairies, you know, and conquer the world. But you get joy from settled living while Jupiter is in the 4th house, even for the biggest wanderer. And Saturn continues to be in your 7th house. It was in 2013, and it will be in 2014 as well. And some Tauruses have already felt its influence, some will feel it now. And whatever Saturn transit, this is where you're being challenged, this is where you have to work very hard. So if you're in a difficult relationship, Saturn in your 7th house, well, it will make it even harder. And the only way you can save a relationship is by really trying everything, really going to counselors, or, you know, trying to make it work, or just bearing through and persevering. And but all the relationships, whether it's personal, business, private, or love relationships, which are no longer relevant, which are not sustainable, which you're not very loyal and committed to, or if the other person is not someone who is very healthy for you, this relationship will fall apart. This is what happens, and people gets rid of a lot of connections that they've had before in their life. When Saturn transits the 7th house, they become much more serious and much more cautious about who they let close to them, because often Saturn will bring to their notice some disappointments, and they no longer and some hurt in relationships. Saturn teaches us the lessons in the hard way. So through pain, through disappointment often, or through kind of detachment, through things fizzling out. So a lot of relationships for Taurus can be, you know, falling apart. But stay peaceful, because if this relationship falls apart, it means you didn't have enough commitment there. It means you or one of the sides didn't have enough commitment. And this is what God's will is. But if you want to keep it, you have to work hard at it. So some relationship can be tested, some fall apart, some stay business or personal. When it comes to business relationship though, Saturn is the planet of hard work. So business relationship can often fare better, like contractual relationships. Contractual relationships which are to do with, you know, working hard together in some way. And 7th house is the house of business, exchanging goods with another person or with another institution or whatever, like trading, you know, dealing with clients. It's one-to-one activity, just like relationships are kind of a business deal, you know. And Saturn there can make someone start their own private business, for instance, and work very hard at it. And it will be a bit slow, it will be a bit difficult, but this is what happens when you lay foundations for business. But it is, Saturn in the 7th house can turn out very good actually for business relationships, for work as well. It's kind of a career house as well, the 7th house, you know, and especially people who are in one-to-one kind of careers like counseling, you know, or trading, where they have to exchange things with another, sell and buy things. This is where they be very dedicated, they work very hard, and Saturn gives you an impulse to really plow on and carry on and work as hard as possible. And especially who will be tested in their relationships, or who might have like this a lot of hard work but very possible positive results in regards to business and relationships. Business in particular, business relationships, while relationships, love relationships are more likely to be tested. Or what kind of relationships are possible with Saturn in the 7th house? Relationship with age difference, 7 or more years below or under you. Also arranged marriages with Saturn, because Saturn is something which is dry. Saturn is something that is not like naturally inspired from inside, but which is imposed on you more from society, or which is imposed on you from your parents, you know. So those of you who are in India, you know, it's good time with Saturn in the 7th house for arranged marriage, because it's a significator of that. Or maybe a marriage can happen, which is more when the person does it with the set of mind that they do it not so much out of love, but for certain other more practical considerations, and something that will help maybe their career, relationship that will help their career, more utilitarian relationship in some way. This kind of relationship are more likely. And karmic relationships, Saturn in the 7th house attracts karmic relationships, which usually tend to be a bit more painful or more ridden with more responsibility. So you can have, even if you're already married and in a relationship, Saturn in the 7th house will make things first test the relationship, second give a lot more. Maybe the partner will be very busy, won't have enough time for you, they'll have a lot of responsibilities, or something happens in the relationship that brings a lot of responsibilities into your life, so the relationship is not so much fun when Saturn is around. And who will feel it particularly in 2014 is those who are born from around the 6th till the 15th of May, and they can also have some changes, careers in their changes in their careers, because Saturn is aspecting the Sun, and the Sun is very much connected to what you want to do as your main role in life. So the Sun is the career. So those born from the 6th to the 15th of May, they can have career changes, more responsibilities, more hard work. They can be really having to work very hard at something which is not still giving results, because when Saturn is around, you're just laying the foundations and putting the hard work, and only later on they start seeing the results of that. So things might be they might feel a bit more tense, more overpowering, more stressing there with authority figures as well. But eventually, if you put enough hard work, you will have success. And some of you might be blocked from getting the jobs they want, and having to work in some more repetitive, some more job that you're given more responsibility, which feels a bit more burdensome and drudgery-like, because this is the nature of Saturn. But when I had Saturn transit the Sun myself, I worked very hard, life wasn't so much fun, my vitality was low, because the Sun is energy, vitality and health. Watch out your bones as well, if you're born from around the, what was it, from the 6th to the 15th of May. But at the same time, the work that you get done can give great results after that, because you're not afraid of working hard right now, and you feel more determined, and you feel more in a sober state of mind. And or if you're doing some job which you're unhappy with, it's like a reality check, you get more and more unhappy with it. You know, this is the point where you can break if you're not loyal and dedicated to that job, and take a new one, or just leave that one, you know. But there is certain testing of your goals, which is the Sun of your career, of your main role of who you are, and the self-image falls down a little bit. The person feels more negative about themselves. Things go a bit slower when Saturn is around, but it's not so bad, because these are key defining moments which help us be more of who we are supposed to be, who help us more, who later on, the work that we do during a Saturn transit is very good later, the results of that work is very good afterwards. Or those who have their Ascendant or their Moon from 15 to 24 degrees in Taurus, all those things that I spoke about, Saturn transits are valid, particularly in relationships for them, and some of them can feel emotionally disconnected more and more from relationship, because Saturn is a separating influence, is more heavy, more responsibility laden, and more detaching. So 15 to 24 degrees Taurus, Ascendant or Moon watch out relationships, and lessons of growth the hard way through Saturn. And what is happening? Rahu and Ketu are changing signs, and for Taurus, Rahu is the dragon's mouth, where one wants more and more, and Rahu, wherever it transits, develops that house very powerfully, in tangible material way, in practical ways. And Rahu in the 6th house is the house of service and work, so a lot of Tauruses will be working very hard, especially Taurus Ascendant people. They will, and Moon and Sun to a lesser degree, they will put a lot of focus in services, particularly 6th house is house of service, of working behind the scenes, laying a lot of foundations, so very similar to Saturn transit, and solving and fixing a lot of problems. 6th house is the house of problems that go wrong, tangible, say fixing stuff at home, or improving their daily routines, or improving the efficiency of their career, improving the efficiency of their working process, improving the efficiency of their body. The 6th house, the house of disease and illness. So when Rahu is in the 6th house, one can become much more interested and ambitious about taking up a new health regime, about adopting a healthier lifestyle, because use this period, because now Rahu gives the kind of obsessive focus wherever it's transiting. And the 6th house, you might get obsessed with health, with medical stuff, with things about improving efficacy of efficacy of your body, work, practical, tangible things, consolidating debts as well. 6th house is the house of debts, something that you owe to someone, or maybe responsibility that you have to work very hard for something to pay off, maybe for a past life, and you can very much develop this and have a lot of focus there. And okay, let's see. So yeah, this is something that will become focused for about a year and a half, from 2014 to the middle of 2015. And those of you who are not using this time to take care of their health and improve basically the efficiency of all systems, of things, to make things run smoother, to correct, to fix things in their life, to improve on things of their lives, tangible, practical things, these things will start breaking down, because Rahu is a demonic planet. So if you don't work it there, things start breaking down more and more. So Rahu has similar influence to Saturn, but you become more obsessed there. You become more, you have deeper desires and ambitions in that area. So, so you can, things can change much faster than with Saturn transit. So you can really make dramatic changes in regards to your health, in regards to the how you do your work, how efficient you are in improving yourself somehow. And let's see what else is happening. There are eclipses, and you know that these eclipses continue to be in your 1st and your 7th house, and of relationships. So big changes that can happen in relationships for Taurus, and in personal path of their life, because the 1st house is where you're supposed to go in your life, on your path, and who you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to do. These are the big questions of life. Eclipses bring fated events. Eclipses they can bring you a new partner, or they can break up an old relationship that is no longer valid, or they can bring such people that stay in your life for a long period, or they can get rid of such people which no longer have place in your life. And usually when you break up with someone on an eclipse, it's a sign from God, you don't need this person, don't go back to them. So April and October are the times of the next eclipses for Taurus, and particularly those are in April, for instance, those who have their ascendant or moon around the 8th degree of Taurus, born from around the 27th to around April to around the 1st of May. This is who can have the big changes in life and the big events happening. Or in October or November, the eclipse happens from 0 to 5 degrees in Taurus, and it can affect their relationships, changes. So those who are born from around the 20th to around the 24th of April, these people can have, these people are the people that I mentioned now with big life changes in happening and fated events. So thank you very much, Taurus, and please write your feedback.